are up there. Isn't it normal for media to want to go cover 130 of the richest and most powerful people meeting in secret? They do it publicly at Davos, and there's over 3,000 media on average there. But we're weird and bad and evil to want to cover this, where Obama got knighted to become the main candidate 4 years ago, and where they're undoubtedly going to be sneaking again this year. This is, and we're finally breaking through where the Washington Post and Bilderberg coverage and the Salon and Bilderberg coverage and Politico and Bilderberg coverage, they hate it. They still make fun of us, but they admit there's a meeting of rich and famous elites, and yeah, they do kind of pick some presidents, but you're still bad to not like that. Yeah, and they commit crimes and violate the Logan Act. Anything else, sir?
Mr. Tucker, is it Jim Tucker?
Yeah, it's Jim Tucker.
Yeah, I mean, he said it best. I mean, good works are done in sunshine. But I just wanted to point out that, I'm a convicted felon. And when, what we need to understand about these background checks, ever since Homeland Security came in, it's not that they're being ignored. They're being enforced where they want them enforced and ignored where they want to ignore them. It depends on the type of crime.
I've read where states are passing laws now where only the state can hire criminals. In fact, Texas was trying to do that because they're like, we can't hire anybody. Everybody's a felon. And it was the county commissioner about a year ago going, we want to be able to hire felons. We found out a bunch of our people with the new backgrounds are felons. We got to let them go. We want to be able to have our own waiver so they can get their own gang of crooks. I mean, I'll tell you, this government is so stinking.
To is selective enforcement.
Well, look, listen, I don't get into all the race stuff, but one time we got pulled over. This is when I was in high school, driving back from the beach. And to be quite honest, we had been drinking some, not a lot, but kind of hair of the dog. And the guy comes over, he smells it, but we're both, me and the guy in the car driving back, had blonde hair and blue eyes. It was a sheriff's deputy with swastikas on his forearms, and he basically tells us, Heil Hitler, and we can go. And I thought, my gosh, what would it be like to be black and get pulled over by this guy? But side issue, it just really creeped me out to be let off of something, which, because I was white. Anyways, yes, selective enforcement is the essence of tyranny. God bless you, sir. I appreciate your call. Don in Michigan, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex, FEMA Region 5, Gladstone flag out front, raw milk in the fridge. How you doing?
Pretty good. Sounds like you're pretty evil.
I think I am. Hey, there's a town called, and I'm just throwing this at you, but there's a town called Kalamazoo, Michigan, and that's where I'm at, and we'd love to have you. I know my 3 daughters will be there with me, a lot of friends and coworkers, and I know you're a busy guy, but just it's a funny name. I thought it might stick in your head, and we might see you here sometime.
Well, I would love to travel the entire country. I meant to be able to stop and give a few speeches on my way, but it just didn't work out because I have too much to do. What do you think of the TSA waiving the background checks, but everybody else has got to have their background run to even fly, and hire known pedophiles to be the commanders?
It's absolutely par for the course. As soon as you said you had that story on InfoWars, I went and emailed it out to everybody I could. And it's just par for the course.
Well, sir, I mean, I'd heard the stories about him enjoying it. Now I watch when I fly. You can see the good-looking woman, and the one guy that's got the job because he likes to put his hands on beautiful women. Then you see the pedo who likes kids, the lesbian that likes women. And, I mean, it's happening. It is happening. I mean, a normal person does not want to put their hands on somebody who doesn't want to be touched. I mean, that is a big deal. I mean, even with your... everybody knows who's got a wife or husband and, has a relationship. It's a big deal with your wife or husband. This is an intimate thing. And people you don't even know. When I was like 16, every girl I saw, I was after, like Pepe Le Pew. Now that I'm older and everything, I realize this is a big deal. This is about love, and it's a big deal who you jump in the sack with. But no wonder pilots who've flown for decades and are, fighter pilots, will go and vomit and not be able to fly. And people are like, oh, don't be a wimp. It's not wimpy, man. It's traumatizing to have somebody who knows they've got you in their power rubbing all over you. I mean, Jesse Ventura literally started having rage breakdowns, and his whole life he could control his anger. He was all into being in control. And he said on air, he figured out why he was blowing up at people. I mean, I'm not going to get into the whole story, but we almost got in a fist fight after we left the airport. Okay? And he apologized the next day, but he figured out it was the TSA. It's the same with me. I get mad about these pedophile stories. And me and Ventura literally almost got in a fight because he was so angry after the TSA were grabbing on him. Okay? I mean, this is what's going on. People can't handle this, man. I mean, these women, it was incredible what they did to Ventura in front of me. And they were, folks, have you... All right, coming up when I start the next hour, I'm going to get a bunch into bank runs in Europe spreading outside of Greece. And now Google Trends shows one of the top trends, fear of bank runs. It's all-time high for Americans. That's a story in the featured news area. You can also find it in the breaking red link at the top at Infowars.com. That's just some of what's coming up. Big news blitz. But I was just talking to Weldon Henson back there in the back office. He's got a pretty popular country western band called Weldon Henson Band, and they play all over the state, play at rodeos, you name it. And he said, yeah, it's freaking him out. He goes, everywhere he goes now, he sees TSA at rodeos, at concerts, and it says TSA inspector, and they're bossing the cops around. The feds. Out of their jurisdiction, and it's not even a sworn officer, and they're the boss. They shut highways down everywhere. They're all over the place. There's nowhere to run from these people. I guess I should go ahead and load my children up and go to the airport and try to get them through there and make a big issue about it. I guess the answer is fly and stand up against them and speak out and sue them and everything. And these criminal courts, I tell you, this is so pathetic. And they don't even do their background check. And when we had a national opt-out day for a week, they just turned the scanners off so people couldn't resist and say no, so that we couldn't show our power. They know what they're doing. They just keep pressing and pressing and pressing and never giving up. We can never give up. Blue in Tennessee. Then we'll go to Jake and others. Go ahead, Blue.
Hey, Alex, I am doing everything within my power for resistance. And one idea that I would like to give to your listeners is if you take a tea bag that is enclosed, so it's self...
Ma'am, I'm sorry. I can't really understand your phone.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now, Alex?
Yeah, talk right into your telephone.
Okay. I'm looking for solutions to everyday problems, and one that I have found that works very effectively is take a tea bag that is self-contained, so it has a cover over the tea bag, and you put a sticker on it that simply says, "Have a cup of freedom on me," and on the back side of the tea bag, it says Infowars.com, and in my area, the radio station that plays you is 1470 AM. I place these underneath the windshield wipers.
Ooh, that's an idea. Hey, whoever's got a tea company and wants to come out with an Alex Jones brand, the answer to 1984 is 1776 tea. We need to come out with our, just repackage another good tea. Find a good tea. Yeah, what flavor, whatever. Companies contact us, and then we can have Infowars.com, have a cup of freedom on it. That is a genius idea, ma'am. That is, yeah.
Thank you. And the other thing I wanted to tell you is to reiterate what you said about women. And being that I weigh under 100 pounds, I have been the epitome of reverse discrimination. Women are the most vicious, vile human beings on the face of the earth when they choose to be. Because they will pick you apart if you are not what they choose that on the platform that they think that you should be. I'm sorry, I've given birth to 2 children. I still weigh under 100 pounds. But
well, I've seen it. Women, most women get dressed up and look pretty, not for men, but to like show off with other women. And the things women do to each other, not women are great. It's just that area of competition with women with each other is just really vicious. And I was using that as an example of these cultures where people hate somebody if they're better looking than them or smarter, or those people also hate those that aren't as good looking as them. It's just very sick. And, they don't want to be around old people. And, they don't want kids. They're so selfish. They're missing out on the whole world. And again, they think they're getting to us because we're freaked out by them. That's not what's happening. It gets to us because they're so spiritually blind. God bless you. I appreciate your call. All right, more calls coming up. And then it's a big news day. I covered some of it in the first hour, some of it this hour, but I am going to be dedicated. I am going to hammer you with hardcore news straight ahead. All right, we're now into the next hour. Thank you for joining us on this Friday edition. Giant news blitz coming up in the next segment on key information. First off, Jake in Oregon, you're on the air worldwide. Welcome.
The guy kind of put the can down and he's like, all right, like he didn't really.
I don't think Jake knows he's on air. His girlfriend or wife's talking. Hey, Jake, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, I got two questions. I wanted to ask about the kid who was talking about President Obama and he got in trouble, and the teachers are acting like he doesn't have a First Amendment right.
Well, she said you can be arrested for that. Yes.
Whatever happened there? Did the teacher lose her job?
Well, first they said it wasn't real, as they always do. You know, the tanks ramming the church, burning it down. We're not attacking, not an assault. The TSA doesn't grope you. We don't strip search old ladies. There's no radiation. We're stopping. But first they said it didn't exist. Then they said, yes, it's real. We're suspending her. But separately, they're trying to segue with laws where you don't have free speech. And in Australia, you get a 1.1 million Australian fine if you criticize the carbon tax. That's coming up.
And another thing is I'm having trouble waking people up, you know. I'm a young activist myself, and people treat me, you know, because I'm only 15 years old, and they act like I know nothing. So I was wondering, can you help me out with that? How can I wake more people up?
Yes, sir.
I said I'm only 15
I'm not ignoring
years old.
you. What happens is there's a steady stream of people bringing me articles and giving me info while I'm talking to callers. So I just missed like 5 seconds of what you said.
What I said is I'm only 15 years old, and people act like I know nothing about the truth movement and about the TSA and the New World Order. And I was wondering how I could wake more people up because people treat me like I know nothing.
Well, I mean, they treat each other like that because they think it's threatening for you to act like that you know the earth is round. They think it's flat. I would make copies of Obama Deception, Fall the Republic. I would hand out photocopies of Infowars.com articles. And then when the school tries to censor you, you call the newspapers and make YouTube videos and make a giant deal out of it. And suddenly you'll be the coolest person in the school. And you'll defeat the enemy. You must use every opportunity and their own persecution against them. Record them, you know, saying, like Al Gore said, kids, go boss your parents around. Tell them carbon taxes are good. Well, people recorded that and slammed Al Gore. Show their evil. Engage them. See, when we engage the enemy, they attack. We're like, oh, they're attacking. Good. We get stronger, they get weaker. Notice the enemy never stops attacking. They're weaker, but they know they've got to keep attacking like a honey badger. Well, we're like a honey badger 10 times bigger than them. We will crush them. We're like a Wolverine. You ever seen a Wolverine beat up a mountain lion 3 times its size? It's because it's so fast, so dedicated, and so fearless. And it grabs around the wildcat. Even it does it with bears. It gets up underneath them, grabs them around the neck, and bites them on the snout. And so it's absolute tenacity. We're right. You're scum. You're filth. We have the moral authority. Notice it's always how the government has the moral authority and how they're good and they care about us. Get aggressive in the info war. Get aggressive in the info war. Get aggressive in the info war. And what you do over and over again begins to magnify the power. Go hand out one-page brochures about liberty. They're cheap to photocopy. You know, trifold them. Go hand them out every Sunday morning for a year. Rain or snow, there'll be news articles about you. Then you can start an organization. Then you'll be a leader. They will admire you once you've proven you're a leader. In the beginning, a patriot is a scarce man, hated, feared, and scorned. But in time, when